So today we will talk about Docker Build Cloud. Okay, so we'll understand what is this service and how it is different from our local build. Okay, so far we have seen various examples on how to build our Docker files in our local machine, right? Yeah. And also we talked about various builders. Okay, so builders like Docker, Docker container, Kubernetes, remote. Okay, so there are various builders for various purposes. Like in case if you have to generate multi-platform images, targeting ARM architecture or AMD architecture. So the default builder may not be, suitable for that purpose. So in that case, we need to go for a different builder. Okay, so I'm going to talk about that builder, like Docker container builder in the coming videos. But today we'll talk about remote builder. Okay, so where you run your builds remotely. Okay. So Docker Build Cloud is one such service provided by Docker. So instead of running your builds locally, okay, so you would run your builds in the remote machines or the infrastructure that is maintained by Docker. Okay, so it has a lot of benefits when you compare, with building your Docker files locally. So they have remote build cache support, okay, for faster builds. They also support multi-platform images. Okay. So there is no difference between how you run your builds locally and in remote, you would use the same, command. But the thing is, you will be using a different builder for that purpose. Okay. And here, once you initiate a command to build the Docker file, build the Docker image. So it runs the build in the remote machines, and then they can transfer that image data back to you, or from the remote system itself, you can push the Docker image to the Docker hub. Okay, so now instead of building your local files, Docker files in a local machine, so you'd be remotely building them. Okay, so which means you will be using the remote build kit instance in the cloud. Okay, so we know that every Docker installation comes with a local build kit, that is embedded into Docker daemon. Okay, so that is the Docker driver, Docker build driver. That's the default one, which is local. So now we'll be using remote build driver. So where your build kit runs in the remote machines. So it has a lot of advantages. So one is you'll have much better build speed in case if you're building large applications that requires large set of dependencies, right? And you can also use shared build cache, and also they support multi-platform builds. Okay. So those are the advantages. And for using this service, you need to go to build.docker.com, and you need to sign up for a free plan. A valid credit card is required just for your verification purposes, but they are not going to charge you anything. Okay, so without credit card, you can't activate your free plan. So this is the default dashboard once you log in into the build.docker.com. Okay, if you see there are no cloud builders, and you have 50 minutes of free build minutes. And if you want to upgrade, you can upgrade from your free plan to the other plans. Okay. And yeah, so this is how the free plan features look like. You have 15 minutes build, and only one parallel build is supported. Okay. So up to 50 GB of shared cache, and one multi-architecture cloud builder is also supported in this free plan. And once you create a remote builder, right? So first you need to add that remote builder to your local machine. Okay. So yesterday, if you remember, we created a builder, a local builder using Docker buildx create and the name of the builder. Okay. And then we did not select the driver option. If you don't select, so the default driver will be Docker container. Okay. So now if you have to add a remote builder, let's say I create a remote builder with this name. So first I need to add a local instance of this. So using Docker buildx create, the driver is set to cloud. Okay. And then the remote builder name. And then if you run Docker build, okay. So by default, this will use the default builder. It is not the one which you currently added. Okay. But of course, once you add this cloud builder, you can also set it as a default one. then all the Docker build commands will by default use that builder. Okay, if you want to specifically target this cloud builder that you added, so you need to pass this hyphen builder flag and give the name of the builder. So it will automatically select the builder that you added. Okay, and this complete Docker build so will basically run in the remote machines. Okay. And in order to set this as the default one, you need to use Docker build X use. So the name of the builder hyphen global. So this will set the cloud builder as the default one. Okay, got it? So this is how you build your Docker files. So it is Docker build X build, the name of the cloud builder, and you can just give the context path that will be always dot. Okay, I mean in case if you're already in the current path, and then you can also tag your image like -t. Okay, and you also have an option to push your images directly from the remote machine. Okay, so that is better because once the build is completed locally, if you have want to transfer it to your local machine, it will be again time taking process. So what you can do is, so after this tagging, you can simply use hyphen push option flag. So it will automatically push your remote build um, images. Okay, you should also make sure that you already have credentials. I think Docker login is also required before this operation because the image has to be pushed to the Docker hub. Okay, so this is information about build cloud. So once you go to build.docker.com and once you complete that sign up process, okay, you need to select either it is the personal account or the your organization. Okay, so I'm just going to select my just my personal account. Okay, so if you see, I already consumed 2 minutes of my build minutes. Okay, and this is your settings and building. So you'll get information about your plan. So first thing we need to do is we need to create a cloud builder. Okay, so let me create a cloud builder. Um, let's say remote Docker builder. So this is the name I wanted to use. Okay, just create it. It will take some time. Okay, so let's wait.
So Vikram, it uses the Docker file to build the image.
Yes.
Vikram, do you have the matrix which you showed us today for Docker build cloud features?
Matrix. I didn't get.
A matrix of comparing the drivers.
Yeah. So if you go to docker.com and if you click on these docs, manuals, and come to Docker build, so you have the architecture and all that we discussed. If you go to builders, you have builders overview. Okay. And then if you go to this build drivers, here you'll have that chart.
Okay. For the general Docker, the first one is a general one, right? Which we usually normally use.
Yes.
What is that automatic load image feature only for that?
Automatic load image feature instance, see, once you're doing Docker build and hyphen tag, okay, you're able to see the image in the Docker image ls command, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that is, see, if you are building it remotely and in local, if you do Docker image ls, you won't see that image.
Yeah, for Docker container also, I will not get that.
Yeah, so for Docker container also you won't get that. So, but so there is an option. So if you, so this is automatic load. So which means if you use certain flags, then you will be able to load it. Okay, so if I just show you this Docker build cloud, and if I just click on usage, so by default you won't get the image loaded. But if you pass, see, building with hyphen tag loads the build results to the local image store automatically when the build finishes. Okay.
Okay. So hyphen tag we regularly used for everything, right?
Yeah. So if you miss it, So what will happen is it won't give you the tag, but you will see the image ID. Okay, so where you'll find the name and tag to be empty.
Okay.
Okay, so you've seen this dangling images, right?
Which are not
So they appear to be like that without name and tag. So then what you will do, you will take the image and then tag them separately. So it's an extra task. So always prefer to, I don't load the image because it will take a lot of time when I'm building remotely. So I'll directly try to push it. Okay, so using uh, where is this hyphen push? Okay, see the builder is enabled. Now, if you click on this builder, you will get all the commands that you have to execute on the local machine. Okay, so first thing is you should do Docker login. Okay, so once you're done with the Docker login command, so you need to create this driver called cloud, and this is my name of the driver that I just created. So you can do it from any terminal. I think I already done Docker login multiple times, so I'm not doing it. Okay, and you can also check this, check all the list of builders by doing Docker build XLS. If you see, we just added this name and the driver is cloud. Okay, you can also see it supports all these platforms, right? And once you're done logging in, I mean creating a local instance, so you can use Docker build x build, the name of the driver, and then you can tag it with anything. Okay, so let me copy till here. So we already have a lot of examples, right? So you can take any. So I'm just taking the 01. See, it has already this Docker file. Okay, so don't worry about this Docker file and all. I just need a Docker file. So Docker buildx build, you need to select this cloud builder, and then I want to tag it with like my Ubuntu colon 1.0. But always remember you should also tag the image with your Docker Hub username, right? Okay, and the context will be dot. Okay, so what will happen once you initiate is all the files will be transferred to the remote builder. You can see connected to the Docker build cloud service. Okay, to my account, and then it is loading the Docker file. Okay, it is sending the data. Okay, it is doing it remotely. You will also see. So the change in your minutes as well. Okay, so exporting to image, exporting layers. Okay, so this is where, basically it will take a lot of time because again, it is transferring that image data back to your local image store. Okay, so ideally you can just use hyphen push. So it will push the content directly to the Docker Hub.
hyphen push only to the Docker Hub registry, right? If I want to use different, I have to use the other way.
Hyphen push. Yeah.
Only, yeah,
Yeah,
only for
no,
the.
if you tag it with a different URL and if you already did Docker login to that registry, it should do. I've never tried it.
Okay.
Probably you can try testing it.
Okay.
It takes a lot of data because it has to send this much of data back to my, okay. And then if I do Docker images, so did you see my one to see here? Okay. But it is not, pushed to the Docker Hub. And also if you check the total CI minutes, if you see it is dropped from 48 to 46. So I used 2 more minutes. Okay. So same thing I'll repeat again, but this time I'll also use hyphen push.
Since we use a tag, it was loaded locally at this time, right?
Yeah, correct. Okay. So it pushed the image. Okay. So if you go to Docker Hub, see, it is here. Okay. Any questions, guys? Okay.
No, Vikram.
So so this is Docker Build Cloud, and again, it's a pretty new feature. So you can explore the documentation. I mean, the documentation doesn't have anything more than this. So you also have Build Cloud in CI. So where they have examples, of complete CI. If you want to run it in GitHub Actions or GitLab CI or Jenkins, okay, it's the same thing. So they say they run the same command, okay, in the CI also. And in GitHub Actions, they have a separate action called setup Docker build, and then build and push. Okay, so both are same. Okay. So in case if you want, you can just take these references from here.